Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. A man must stand his ground in the real world. This podcast is sponsored by X-Wolf Testosterone Builder. Gentlemen, are you struggling in the body, sex, or mental game? Need to keep pace with multiple women? There's an answer for you. X Labs presents a proven line of products to help in those areas. Our X-Wolf Testosterone Booster aids in intense workouts in the gym and in the bedroom. Increased blood flow and a heightened libido are just a few of the many benefits. X-Wolf contains all natural ingredients that have been used in Eastern medicine for centuries. All products come with a 30-day free trial and free standard shipping. Use code ROM10 for an additional 10% off. Click the link below in the description box to find out more. Quantities are limited. Make a select choice, unleash your inner wolf, and lead the pack to death. Now, what do I mean when I say stand his ground in the real world? I mean, in the age of social media, we got people, many men, or it's probably easy to call them males, biological males, who can say what they want, what they please. And, it sounds good. Of course, they say it behind avatars. Or, they'll talk a lot of smack. Have y'all seen that? And not just in this area, but just in general, in social media, ever since, this is going back to when it was just message boards or bulletin boards, email lists, and people could say what they want, have their position, and try to promote something. But, in the reality, at the end of the day, a man has to be able to stand his ground in the real world, what's going on. When I say real world, he has to be able to stand in front of people who could see, who can look him in the eye, who can be in his presence, who could, see the sweat on his brow if he has it, or lack of sweat on his brow, who could be, who can confront him directly. And whatever position that he has in life, whatever his beliefs are, he has to be able to stand his ground. Now, this ain't saying whether he's right or wrong or somebody coming against him is right or wrong. But see, ultimately, as a man, you got to be prepared to defend whatever you believe in. And a man's beliefs has to be so strong, he's willing to throw his hands for them. If he's not that or willing to defend them in public, boom. Now, it's easy to defend them like in a virtual environment. It's easy. It's easy because you're not looking that person in the eye. You're not under like any threat of a physical confrontation. It's easy. It's like you can say whatever. There's nothing, especially someone putting just a avatar or a screen name or something. There's no repercussions. You could say what you want and then walk outside, and just do your thing. Because in fact, really, and I need to do another podcast on here. I've talked about this on my Deep Thought channel, but this is a world of make believe. People can say whatever. They can tell you that they could tell you that they're rich or successful or whatever. But then if you see them in the real world, you see that that's not the case. You can take one look at them. You could check their background and tell that's not the case. But see, a true man, if he said whatever he says, any place, he could say it any place. He can stand his ground and back that up. Not just with his words, but also his actions. His body stance, how is he standing? Is he ready for a physical confrontation to deal with that? If he can't do it, then, he has to question his manhood. See, the thing with a man, I always talk about the house of the man. And, and that's a universal. That ain't something I made up or even my mentor made up. That's something universal. Other groups will use different terms for the same thing. But one thing universally, a man has to be a warrior. A warrior. Understand that. And just the nature of war. War don't mean talking and everything. At the bottom line of being a warrior is the ability to fight for what you believe. To fight for what you believe. You might have to stand your ground. Now, a true warrior will avoid confrontation on that level. A true warrior, like you could get some professional boxers, they peaceful as hell in the street. You get some martial artists, like some genuine martial artists who learn the combat art, they peaceful in the street. You get a street fighter. Most street fighters are peaceful and low key and quiet. But if someone were to get in their face, boom, they're ready to fight. Now, it's not saying you're going to go out there and fight all the time, because I've said stuff like this before, and people say, well, yeah, that's why these people did and all that. But no, as a man, you got to be able to defend everything you say. Like everything I say, I'm using myself personally. Every single word out of my mouth, if necessary, I will go in front of anybody and say it. I will be in a public venue and say it. And any man has to do that. That's just the nature of man. And that's a natural part. That's not limited to any culture, any specific race, ethnic group, religious, whatever. A man has to defend that. Now, does he look around like to just always do that? No, he shouldn't. But he got to be prepared to. Now, this ain't really this whole thing about not fighting, but it's about having the heart and the conviction and the belief to say what you believe. Whether or not it's correct in other people's eyes is irrelevant. Whether or not it's correct or not is irrelevant. Because, truth itself, there's always three perspectives: your side, their side, and the actual truth. But if that's what you believe, that's your belief system, you got to be prepared to defend it. To stand your ground on it. To face a possible negative consequence on it. That negative consequence could be anywhere, not just a physical confrontation, but if you're on a job and you see negative things happening, are you the type who's going to stand up and say, no, wait a minute, this is wrong? Like on a job, how many men will stand, they see the negative things happening, being done right there. How many men will stand up to it? Or, you see something in your neighborhood, you see that it's wrong, it's happening in front of you. How many men will stand up and say, hey, we're not going, that's not going to happen. How many men will stand up to defend their loved ones if that's necessary? Whatever you got to stand up for. And this is in the real world, a physical thing. And the reason why I say that, like I said, it was one thing to say something in an online form or, by email or something like that. It's something else to look that person in the eye. And it's tough because what happens? If a man is weak, lack strength, lack conviction, lack skills to fight, what does he do? He'll sit back, somebody's in his face or somebody's challenging him, looking him in the eye. He gets nervous. He feels nervous. He can feel fear. He might not even say anything. That's a sign of weakness. That's a sign of weakness. And that's a very important. Now, like I said, the true man, you don't necessarily want to be running out there starting anything. Like I said, a true warrior avoids confrontation. They don't start anything. You notice they real quiet. They don't start anything, but they sure as hell finish everything. And every single man has to have that mindset. It's very important. It's very important because I think that's a big problem that's with a lot of men out here. A willingness to look someone in the eye. A willingness to say this is how far I'm willing to go to defend what I believe in and to defend those I love. It's a powerful thing. And it's a very important thing for any man to have, no matter what. No matter what. And that's the thing. And that's actually a big problem with just overall masculinity, just in many of these cultures. Something happens and then people want somebody else to handle it. Like a man wants another man to handle his business on a physical level, or some other force to handle it instead of doing it himself. That's not any good. Because ironically, When men were more willing to confront each other over some physically, over some negative issue or some perceived wrong or something, a lot of stuff was solved peacefully. A lot of stuff was solved because a true man knew there was a consequence. And then if it still couldn't be solved in a peaceful manner, hands were thrown. And every single man got to be prepared for that. So that's all I got for today. I'll talk to you later. Peace.